Oh, hey, you just caught me watering my succulents. No, actually, that's not a metaphor. Those are succulents and I'm watering them. It may become a metaphor now that I've said it. Look for that in a future Matt Wallace novel. And they spent all night watering the succulents. I don't know what that means, and I feel bad about it, and I apologize. Anyway, but these are my succulents. There are many like them, but those are mine. These were actually a gift from a reader of mine, a very lovely reader who follows me on Twitter named Mel. Mel comes to a lot of my local events in LA. She came to a signing I did for Taste of Wrath, my final Sin du Jour book that came out back in April, and she brought me these lovely succulents as a gift. You never have to bring me anything if you come to one of my events, by the way. It's not at all required. But Mel brought me succulents, and I put them here in the backyard, in our little backyard here, in a place of prominence on our patio, and they are the only living things that my wife tolerates. She barely tolerates the grass. She loathes and resents watering it. But we like the succulents. No, we do. We like succulents. We like succulents because succulents are good people. They really are. For instance, you never hear succulents argue for unpaid internships with the callous fervor of someone in the 20s kicking, an 8-year-old down into a coal mine. And not giving a shit before child labor laws existed. You never hear succulents say that maybe novels and movies shouldn't be all political, when what they really mean is, after a century of seeing 99% of all movies and all books that were published star white dudes, that they're really upset that there's now a black dude in Star Wars. That's what they actually mean when they say that. You never hear succulents go off on any of that kind of crap. And that's why we like succulents, because succulents are good people. And yes, welcome back to my writer's room, everyone. It's been a little while. And I want to apologize to, I know, the dozens and dozens of you out there who have missed me and have been wondering where the hell is my weekly vlog. I'm going to go over that real quick. Don't want to belabor the point. The vlog is back. It's back this week. We'll be back next week, and we'll try to keep it going from there. I'm going to do the best I can. What happened is simply this. I just got too busy, and I needed to take a break from something, and the vlog was the only thing in my life that I could actually set aside for a minute without causing disastrous ripple effects throughout the rest of my life. As some of you may not know, if you're joining us in progress, at the beginning of this year, I accepted a full-time position as a marketing writer for this highfalutin international ICO marketing agency, because last year I got married and my wife and I bought a house, and we live in Southern California, in one of the most expensive places and one of the most expensive countries in the world to fucking live in and exist in. And my books weren't selling well enough, and I'm not going to go into that, because then I start to internalize and I start to sob and I get chest pains, and it's the whole thing. Don't worry about it. So I did that. I found a very cool job with a very cool agency that allows me to work remotely from home, and affords me the opportunity to still work on my freelance stuff, on my novels and screenwriting, all that good stuff. And and the thing is, when I took the job, I didn't stop doing any of that other stuff. So literally 3 months after I took this job, which is, though I do get to work remotely and I'm heavily compensated and work with a great group of people, is very stressful and very busy, and is a lot of work. 3 months after I took this job, I sold a novel to Saga Press and signed a 3-book deal with them for the trilogy. So, within the span of 5 or 6 months, I went from one of the worst years in my career, at one of the worst times to have one of the worst years in my career, to my career being better than it ever was before, and my life being fuller and busier than it ever was before. And I wasn't ready for any of it. And I was, I'd started this vlog, and I've talked about this before, but again, if you're joining us in progress, I started this vlog the day after I got married last year in October, because I needed to do something, man. I was in a rut with my career, and my personal life was awesome, but my personal life made very specific and very reasonable demands of my career, and so I needed to do something. So I started this vlog, not thinking that within 5 months I wasn't going to have time to do it anymore, and that's essentially what happened. So and then within the last few months, all of that stuff just heated to a boil, to a point where I just needed a break. Like my agency, we were working on launching our biggest client. Like their ICO was coming up. It was a huge rush. It was a daily grind. It was big and exciting, and all that jazz. But it was very busy. At the same time, I'm finalizing this biggest book deal of my life, and I'm trying to finish a new novel, which I'd meant to have done at the first of this year. And because I took this new job, it got backburnered, and we're coming up on summer, and I'm like, I want to get this done, and I want to get that out there while this big deal is still going on, and I've got some heat behind me. So I had all this stuff going on. I was like, okay, I'm going to set the vlog aside until our biggest client launches their ICO, and I finish this novel. that was I think at the end of May, and here we are, middle of June. Still haven't launched our biggest client. They ended up delaying their ICO, and I still haven't finished the novel. So none of the things that I took the hiatus from the vlog to do have been accomplished, and that shit happens. Like one thing was beyond my control. The novel, I'm getting under control. I am determined to have it finished in the first draft to my agent, to my fabulous agent, before my birthday on the 25th. That is my diehard goal for this month and for this summer. So that's the non-irony, because I don't think that actually counts as irony, of the situation. I took the hiatus from you guys and gals and non-binary folk out there who follow me to do these things, and neither of them got done. And I have no excuse. That's what's happened, and that's where I was, and that's where we are coming back into the story here. Oddly enough, the question I get most often now, like the writing question, because we are in the writer's room in my office, and this is supposed to be a writer channel and a writer vlog, and it's called Angry Writer, and branding is important. I know that because I'm a marketing professional. Oddly, the most often asked question I get now is, now that I've gone from freelancing to a full-time job, but I'm still writing fiction and writing everything I was before, like, how do I balance those two things? That's probably the most common question asked by aspiring writers, because you have to have a job when you start out doing this. You have to have a day job, because being an aspiring writer doesn't exactly pay the bills. It doesn't pay any of the bills. And I've been getting that question pretty much since January, when I started, from multiple people, and the answer is simply, I don't know. I really don't, man. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. And it would be a lie to say I figured it out yet. It's 6 months. I'm 6 months into this job. The job is going fantastically. I was actually just this week, I was bumped up to senior content developer, which was a big deal, man. And it's a fancy title, and they love what I do. Clients love what I do. I'm being very successful at this thing, but that, like any full-time job, it takes up a lot of your time. And, I'm still getting to write for a living and be creative, which is awesome, but it's not what I got into this to do. I got into this to tell my stories on the canvases of my choosing. And I'm still getting to do that, but figuring out how to do it on a continuous basis while doing this thing, 6 months in, I still haven't figured it out. I've tried different methodologies. Like, I'm trying to figure out, times of the day, rhythms of the week, scheduling, all that stuff. I've tried different things. Some of them worked, some of them didn't. Some of them worked for a while, and then when things would get busy and circumstances would change, life would happen, and they wouldn't work so well as they had. So the truth is, man, everybody asks me that question. I don't know. I don't know how. It's hard. I knew it was hard, but it's not like I've never had a full-time job before. I had a full-time job back when I was 18. For almost 6 months. So, like, don't tell me I don't know what work is. No, but even as a freelancer, I understood how hard that was. But I definitely have a newfound respect for everybody, especially professional authors who publish books and still have a full-time job. The Cameron Hurleys of the world, who Hurley loves me now because I share her pain as a marketing concubine, who's also a full-time writer. So I don't know. That's the answer to that question. When I figure it out, I will let you know first. You'll be the first ones to hear it. And now that the vlog's going in, you can watch me figure it out, because I'm at that point where I have to unlock that equation and figure out that algorithm and get the formula down, lest my career suffer. And I don't want it to suffer, because again, it's at the best place it's ever been. and I want to keep that going. So I don't know. I have no answer to the work-life balance thing. I have no answers for you. It's a great first vlog back, isn't it? Hi, I'm Matt Wallace. Welcome to the Writer's Room. I have no answers for anybody. That's fantastic. But it's the truth. And I always promise you guys and gals and non-binary folk that from day one, that's what this blog at its core would be about. I would tell you the truth, especially when it was unpleasant or hard truths. And that's a hard truth. 6 months on, I haven't figured out that very important aspect of my life yet, but I'm working on it. And as soon as I figure it out, you will all be the first to know. That is it for this week. Thank you for sticking around. I mean, I don't know how many of you have. I actually got more subscribers during the hiatus, which is weird, but I don't know how many people are actually watching the vlog or will watch this vlog. If you are, thank you for sticking around. I really appreciate it. If you're new, please keep watching. I promise it gets more entertaining and more insightful as we go along. I'm just shaking the rust off right now. But really, thank you to Team Hamshackle for sticking around. I really appreciate it. Please do like, share, and subscribe if you've not subscribed yet. Click that little bell icon after you subscribe so you'll get notifications of when these videos come out. Otherwise, they're going to get lost in the shuffle of your very hectic lives. So please do those things for me. Like, share, subscribe. Click the bell icon. I would appreciate it if you do all those things. The other thing you can do is leave a comment. If you'd like to ask me a question about writing, the craft of writing, the business of writing, especially the business of writing. I love addressing that. I do a whole podcast about that if you've never heard it, Ditch Diggers. Or any other questions you want to ask. People like to ask me a lot about movie fight scenes and food. So whatever you want to do. Hit the comments, ask me a question. You can ask me a question on Twitter. Use the hashtag #TeamHamshackle. That's what I'll be checking for questions. And yeah, you'll have your question answered on a future episode of the vlog. I will be back next week, same Matt time, same Matt channel, and we will go from there. It's good to be doing this again. I like doing this. I like interacting with you all and reading your comments and seeing you respond to this stuff. I really do. It's a cool thing. So I'm glad to be back doing it. Gonna try to keep doing it on the regular and just stick with me and see if I pull it off. But until next week, thank you all, and I will see you next time.